Hello and welcome. Welcome to Leading Ladies Leaving Legacies. You know, I love the word legacy. I am Joy Ruffen, and the work that I do is as a leadership and style consultant, a signature style specialist, a speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster, and it's all connected. And every Wednesday night, I bring you a featured guest speaker. The work that I do is with women who are transitioning from one something to another, and we don't talk generation because it could be any generation. And tonight, we are going into the future. Our featured guest speaker tonight, Dinah Redhouse, is going to bring you more information that you can walk away that will be so impactful to you. So all I want you to do is just sit back because we have a lot to cover in the short time that we're going to be together. So relax, whatever that is to you. Get a glass of wine, a cup of coffee, tea, a glass of water, or just sit back and relax and help me to welcome our featured guest speaker tonight, Dinah Redhouse. Dinah, come on up, as they say.
Well, Joy, thank you so much. What a pleasure to be here and to be in front of these wonderful leading ladies. And it's such a privilege to be here with you finally, after all this time.
Finally. And right back at you, my lady. We've been doing this dance for almost 2 years here, but sooner than later it came to be. You know, Dinah, there's no question about my admiration for you because I'm very much in love with female trailblazers, and you are definitely one. So tell us, let's start off with a little bit about how you came to do what you're doing. The title that I gave this is Apps Are the New Website, which I believe, and Why Apps Are the Future. Now, how did you transition into the business that you're doing now from being an employee? Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joy, that's a great question because I think it takes two fundamental transitions, and that's the physical and the mental. Because especially when we're so groomed to, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? Working a corporate job and having the corporate dream, which is what I did for many years before I kind of finally was able to take lead on my life and really kind of figure out what I wanted out of my life. And if the people that were guiding me through it actually had the things that I wanted. Right.
Yes.
And so I had to actually look at that and examine if I could see myself in their shoes in 10, 20, 30 years from then. And a lot of times I would kind of find myself with this like dull feeling of like, that feeling that maybe I would look back and think, what if, there's this beautiful poem that says, but what if I fall? And she goes, oh, but my love, what if you fly? And it's one of my favorite quotes because I literally, decided to take that leap when I was working about 8 years in corporate America and take the leap. And a lot of people, that are starting these online businesses are a lot younger. And so it can be very intimidating seeing that there are these, 23 and 24-year-olds that are making, 6 and 7 figures a month. But I knew that everything in my life, every moment, every learning lesson, every position I had in corporate was literally putting tools in my tool belt to be able to launch my business. And now I see it literally in action every day, whether that be doing accounting for my business. And I spent 5 years in accounting to, working in all these various positions, even down to waitressing when I was in college. I use that to this day. And so I had to really get out of the limiting beliefs that had been instilled in me from a very young age that I didn't even know that I was truly holding on to, like money doesn't grow on trees. These things that we so boldly kind of hold on to.
Oh
And
my.
we even realize that they're really, going into our subconscious. And so I had to really reprogram what I could allow myself to expect. And a lot of times we're trying to get permission, and then we realize that we can just give ourselves permission. And that's what I did. And I made a goal for 2022 to launch my business. And I said, in January 2022, I'm launching my business. I'm not going to go back to having a boss, and I'm gonna take the leap. And don't you know that my very last job ended in December, and my very last kind of severance paycheck ended on the 1st. So it was literally the most synchronistic moment to have it just line up so perfectly. And I really did say to myself, okay, I can either go forward and take a step into some waters unknown, or I can go back to what I'm comfortable. And I don't believe that comfort is good for anyone. Either you can, work a corporate job and stay out of your comfort zone by learning something new every day. So I like to really challenge my mind, challenge my life. So
Dinah, you could not have explained that and shared that with us better because all of the nuggets that you gave us about there are so many today, the younger people who are making between 6 and 7 figures a month. But
Yeah.
yet back in the day when you decided to do this and you started off with what's so powerful for all of us, for me and for almost everybody, what if? But what if you're sitting in that rocker and what if you took the leap, you decided to do it? That's why I
Yeah.
say female trailblazers who decide, and we're into the Insta stage now. But you know what? It takes time, but it's worth the investment. I love what you share with us because you nailed everything. You took the leap, you gathered together all the tools that you needed, and now here you are. So tell us why apps. What took you into the app business, and why are they so important for business today?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because that's the question we all need to ask. Because before we really knew what websites were, we were saying the same thing. And so I look at apps as the new website. And the reason being is because there are pivotal points. And as we actually learn more about technology and the way that we kind of have these trajectories and growth, it's actually never a direct line kind of inversely like going up. It's actually these paradigm kind of shifts and these growth spurts that happen, and then we have a plateau, and then we have another big shift. And so what I'll say is that product adoption is happening much quicker. It took 100 years to adopt cable TV and only 10 years to adopt the iPhone. And so when we look at how quickly, that's 1/10 of the time. So that means that the next big transitional in technology will probably happen in just a couple of years. And I think we see that happening with OpenAI right now with ChatGPT. So the reason why I say apps are so important and what got me into it is because I had this fateful day in college. I went to RIT in New York, and I never go to any seminars. I was just really always kind of just focused on doing my work, getting the job done. And I kind of, just really didn't participate too much. But this one speaker, I walked by and I see the promotional flyer for it, and it says futurist. And I'm like, what is this? And so probably the only seminar I went to in all of my years of college, I walk in and it's this futurist talking about, where technology is going and the fact that pretty soon we would have like half of our red blood cells replaced in our body, and we can run marathons for like 5 hours at a time, or, sprint for 5 hours, like all these things that he was talking about, nanotechnology. And it got my mind thinking, I love art and I love technology and I love business. How would I ever bring all those things together? And then lo and behold, years later, the iPhone came out with apps, and I was like, this is absolutely it. And what really sealed the deal for me, Joy, was I launched my first app. I tried to get money for it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it myself. And so I finally launched my first app, and I made return on investment in the first month, and that really hooked me in. So,
Dinah, you're giving us so many priceless, absolutely needed jewels for most everyone. Because the analogy that you made when you initially started off explaining to us, when I asked you why apps are important for business, the analogy that you used is back in the day, computers. No one had them, and now everyone has, but yet we're transitioning slowly but surely, most of us, over to using apps and combining. So I love the way that you explain that, and also how you came to this. You mentioned it somewhat, but where and how is the tech revolution going to affect all of us, especially in this computer technology universe that we're all in, whether we want to be or not? And if you have half a brain, hello, Sonia, great to see you here. We all want to be in it. So share with us where is this tech revolution? Where is it going? Where is it taking us? And how are you going to be a part of it?
absolutely. And we hear a lot of these amazing leaders right now, whether it be Sam Ovens, that talks about the fact that communities are really leading the
Yes.
future. That's why Facebook went into more of a cohort-based kind of community where it's like everything is separated by interest. And I think we're going to see more of that. That's why I think Alex Hormozy recently invested a huge amount of money, his biggest amount that he's ever invested into school, because he knows that that's kind of where things are going. But the thing is that I think on an economical scale and on like more of a culture-wide effect, we will see way more gig economy, where people are turning themselves into businesses. And we already see a little wave of that happening between Uber, all these kind of things, Airbnbs. But you'd be surprised the ways that you can make money these days with a gig economy. I don't want to get into Feet Finder and all these other kind of more nefarious things. At the same time, with things like you can rent storage in your house. I'm actually working on an app right now that rents your parking space in your metro areas like New York City, Chicago, all those places. And you can literally gigify your life. And now someone that was only making a certain set amount of dollars per hour can be making hundreds, if not thousands an hour by not even lifting a finger. And so I think that when you really understand what we're given right now, we will never talk about scare tactics and bad economy, because it really is what you make it. And here's the beauty of it. And this is what I love about it so much, is that we're empowered.
Yes.
We're empowered to take our time and our lives back.
Oh, Dinah, you're speaking to the choir here. And you mentioned these words that are so powerful: community, because everything is about community. And what you mentioned about the new app that you're building, I just heard and read something about an app for parking lots and all of that, because you can find so many ways to make money now. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong about this. You can share with me your thoughts. I really think the pandemic woke a lot of people up as much as it's frightened the bejesus out of people, because people had to become more innovative and find ways to produce and make income for themselves, because we were at a deadlock there for quite a while.
Yeah, Joy, there's a saying, necessity breeds innovation, and 100% is what happened. But also, here's what it did, right?
Yes.
Did you ever drive home from someplace and not remember your way home?
Yes.
Because really what happens is we go days, weeks, months, years doing the same routine. And if we do the same thing we always do, we're never firing new neurons. We're never making new connections. Our creative muscle is atrophied. And so we never really think we have to try anything else. But when we have to, the human spirit is so incredibly resilient that it will literally find a way. And our subconscious always knows the answers. And it's really us having to be put in that situation to challenge ourselves to do that. So I love what it's done. I mean, I don't mean that in a way that would negatively hurt anybody.
No.
Obviously a lot of losses. I had a loss in my family, but in the sense of the inspiration, I think kind of recharging of the human spirit, I think that it's been amazing.
I completely and totally agree with you, because when I say that it's time for everybody to individualize themselves and become more innovative in what you want to do and what you want to go. And you started us off with the verbiage that I use all the time: take the leap, jump. And you might not land where you want, but if you keep going and you keep moving and surround yourself with people who understand and applaud what you're doing, I think that's great. When it comes to this tech movement that you're about and why apps are so important, how do we stay in the forefront of this movement? Now, that's a loaded kind of question, but in what you're doing, how would you address that for the layman who maybe is thinking about it, holding back, making excuses? How would you approach them? What would you say?
Yeah, and here's the tricky thing I would say about navigating through this new tech revolution is that every new product or service or thing that comes out, people will take advantage of your naivety, right? People will take advantage. And unfortunately, that's just kind of what happens. Like back in the day, people could, charge somebody $100,000 for a very simple app, and it would be completely inflated for no reason, just because they knew they could, and they knew the person didn't know any better. And that's another reason why I started my business, is to kind of detract from that situation. But consuming new free knowledge out there that's available, and not being afraid and letting technology intimidate you, you're going to have to just literally get those thoughts out of your head that this is too complicated for me. And literally, go into the free resources on YouTube, go into using ChatGPT to learn ChatGPT, right? Like how to learn it, how to use it, what prompts I should use, like literally do that. And also there's so many thought leaders these days that are giving away incredible value, because we know that's the only way that people will actually move through their sales process, is if they feel like there's an incredible amount of value. So find your thought leaders, like the Russell Brunsons of the world and the Alex Hormozis. I've learned so much from these wonderful thought leaders that are literally telling you their sauce, their secret recipe, and you just gotta listen and apply it.
Dinah, I have to chuckle at that because we're going to take a quick little reset. But before we do, here's what someone shared with me, and it's so true. You mentioned go to Google, do your research. I call him Dr. Google, University Google, whatever, however you name him. But someone said to me, a lot of times you can give all of this free stuff away and people still don't know what to do with it, and they need you. And that's what you spoke to in a very subtle way. I love where you're taking us and all the information you're sharing. Carilla's going to put you in the green room for a brief second, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can all leverage tech in our business and what we can do with an app. And by the way, before we leave and say goodbye for a split second to you, I want everybody to go away knowing that you call yourself, and I love this name, the digital nomad, because you move around a lot. And I love that. She's going to put you in the green room, and I'll be back with you in just a second. Hold tight. Ah, my goodness. My friends, if you're here now or for the recap, this lady is powerful. She's real. She's genuine, full of integrity. And when she tells you that she's going to support you in everything that she's doing, you can believe it. And again, I'm back to tell you, as I always do, if you are not a member of Leading Ladies Leaving Legacies, she's there, and so many other beautiful souls. You belong there as well. Because once you get in this group, there's so many other women that you can connect with, ladies who are maybe aligned with what you're doing, maybe not, but maybe they know someone. The whole point is to connect and collaborate and be about change, because your vision and your mission and your purpose, it's important, and we need you. Just you. So make sure that you join this group if you're not a member already. We are hungry to have you there because we know that you're needed there. And here's something that I always speak about, always, because this is my base foundational knowing. Know thyself. If you haven't dwelled and popped into knowing about this human design, then it's time for you to look into it and see if it's something that will benefit you. Because it's time to go on your treasure hunt. I don't care how knowledgeable, how knowing, and how pulled together you might feel and think and know that you are. Another insight, another viewpoint can't hurt. So go here and get your free gift. And then if you want to take it further, you ought to. And I'll share a little bit more with you about this at another time. But this is something that you need to do. And my silver package is up and ready. We're beginning to promote it. And it's a great value. It's only 3 weeks. And you're going to have, with that 3 weeks, 3 bonuses. And I want you to just take a link and go there and see that. And there's so much more there that I'll be sharing with you as we move forward. And before we go away, I just want to put up Dinah's poster. And I want you to take a screenshot. I love this. We're talking about AI and all this technology. Take a screenshot, get her website, email, and make sure that you connect with her. And we'll talk a wee bit more about this later. So thank you for that. Dinah, let me just ask you this. I started off, how do we leverage tech in our businesses today? Most all of us, the majority, are working pretty much online. So how are we going to leverage our success in this business with technology today?
Absolutely. Well, we have to imagine that a lot of us are working as solopreneurs until they get to the next level. And we're trying to accomplish what normally would take 3 and 4 people on a sales team, right? Like, we need to be the setters and the marketers and all these hats we're wearing, when now we're blessed with the best gift ever of being able to leverage, AI to do those tasks for us. So no longer do we need a copywriter. No longer do we need somebody to do a marketing research analysis project for us. There's so many things that we could leverage, and now so much as to doing cold calls and setting for us, an automation that will literally be a bot to make cold calls. Imagine, you have a call center and you're replicating that through, an AI service, and it sounds just like a real human and it's synthesized, right? So I think we're not quite there yet as of now to go that far, but there are a lot of tools such as AI for press releases, for legal purposes, for cold emails, all these things that we can use. I mean, just yesterday, I took a transcript of 5 of my best sales calls, put it in a ChatGPT and said, tell me what my best selling points are to clients. Tell me what my clients are looking for. And it literally spit out all the answers I was looking for. That's like borderline magical.
Don't we love that word magical? Magic? Of course it was magical. I tell you, there's a lot that's a little bit scary for many people about chat and AI and all of that. Yet there's also something magical about it. It's like anything else, right, Dinah? You have to learn how to use it and utilize it to your best advantage. Tell us a little bit, because the time goes here so quickly and you're just loaded with information, and I love that you are. But tell us a little bit about how you work with people. If I were to come to you, which I will at some point in time, I can't say when because there's a lot going on my end, but I know that this is something that I need. How do you work with people? How, if I were to come to you, how do you start? Because people want to know the bottom baseline about what they might receive
Absolutely.
or will receive when they work with you.
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that, I mean, even if people think they don't need an app for their business, the fact of the matter is an app is going to be transformative for you to have one major component, and that's LTV, right? So when you're on other platforms, you're not really going to ever own your audience. And I think we've seen classical examples like on Facebook recently when a lot of people lost their access. And I know a specific kind of celebrity influencer that I spoke to, and we were about to build his app. He said, let's wait. And then he got kicked off of Facebook. He called me up. He said, all right, I'm ready to go. And unfortunately, a lot of people have to have those moments where they're deplatformed, they're banned, they're shadow banned, and their whole livelihood where they've built up their whole, like literally their whole platform is gone. And so what they can expect is, instead of us building these very complex native apps like we used to, we kind of decided to be smart about things and really offer our clients and businesses something that could be a low barrier of entry where they can now build their own apps using AI, which is absolutely incredible. It's a drag and drop system, and the AI is working behind the scenes. Your own little personal assistant. They're coding your code to your app where you're just selecting the features you want. And for coaches, that's stuff like daily check-ins to track their progress. Your LMS system is living and breathing. And most fundamentally, your community is not just you speaking at them, it's them engaging with other users, right? And they're collectively engaging. And what that does for a coach and what that does for businesses is now they're the billboard for your brand. Now they are the advocates saying, oh my gosh, I lost 10 pounds using Stacy's app program, and all these things. So it relates across so many industries, whether that be coaches, whether that be fitness influencers in general that need to monetize their platform, right? Like, and actually own their audience. Because I say, if you have a huge following, your followers are not an asset, they're a liability until you actually own them.
You know what, Dinah? You're bringing us so many platinum jewels that we all have to walk away with, whether you're ready now or at some point in time. And I love your verbiage, own your audience. And that's what your app will give you. And how you brought that to us was what happened when Facebook, and the guy called you and said, I'm ready now. Own your audience is own your community. And you'll be able to dialogue with them whenever and wherever you choose to, at your speed and your level. And what I like, because I'm not a techie, but I love this stuff, I love that drag and drop. That's just easy for me. And for most people, no matter how technically advanced you are. So I can see how that would be very beneficial. And most people who get these apps and they're solopreneurs and they have other people working with them. So you're just on the target. Tell us a little bit about, I mentioned it before, but I really want to know what made you choose apps because you're very innovative, very progressive, and I'm not giving you a tiara to wear, even though you can. What made you decide that it was apps that you wanted to put your energies and your love and your passion into?
Well, let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind. Did you know that in 2023, there was a total of 66 million years of time spent on apps within just that amount of time? So the thing is that when I found out what apps can do and how they can be scaled, and most importantly, how they can be a great equalizer. So whether I'm a kid, in a third world country and I learn to code, I can literally make millions, or I can impact my society and I can create something that will fundamentally change the fabric of society, which is, what I'm doing now with a lot of the technology I'm working on, such as 911 Missing, which is an app to help with child abductions and human trafficking. So these things are like simple ideas at their core, but the actual implementation of them will change the world forever. And the fact that I get to be part of that, like when I realized the power of apps, it just made me feel like I love what these are able to do. It really is a way to generate peer-to-peer empowerment.
Oh, Bob, you mentioned one of my favorite words, a word that frightens some people, never frightens me of late. Used to back in the day, but power and that ability to empower with what you're doing, and back to that community thing. But you know what you're talking about, how able you were able to do the research that you needed and see that this was something. That's innovative thinking. That's pioneering and going beyond the average, because most people just gather, see it, but they don't do the work that you did to decide this is where I want to be. And
Yeah.
then you found, because I didn't hear that but did you find after doing this research and exploring it all one and the same, that once you started to dabble in it, that you fell in love and you had a passion for the coding and the mapping it out and strategizing and all of that? Did that come?
I'll be honest with you. That part is not what really gets me going. It's really the creation. I love collaborating with our founders when they have an idea and really building on it and making it great and making it something that I know will be powerful. And I have to admit, I always thought my biggest weaknesses in life was my ideas, my creativity, because I had too many ideas that I didn't know where to start. And I really had to change the way that I looked at myself and say, I can be both a creator and an implementer. Like I can actually implement and I can actually ideate and bring them together and I can take action, right?
I love your honesty. Integrity is at the top of my list. Now, we all talk about passion and falling in love and so on and so forth. And the way that I voiced that question to you and the way that you responded to me, you're in my heart forever, because that's the truth. But you found the passion and the love for the putting it all together. That's not the passion and the love that I was talking about, but it came through. So I received that. Good for you. I tell you, and when I see women, I get excited for you, for all women that I see who are pioneers, female trailblazers, agents of change, which is what you are, and women who will leave their legacy. We're in this time span now, but down the road, you'll be there. That I know for sure. Tell us how you plan. What are some of the futuristic seeds that you have, maybe that you want to share a little bit about before we put up your app and have you tell us about what you're thinking about there?
Amazing. So three things I want to touch on. Number one is the fact that I'm pioneering a new experience in social media. I'm launching the world's first ever augmented reality immersive experience app. So it's going to be something that will create genuine connection in the everyday living that we do when we're around other people. I can't give away too much because it's part of the project, but it's going to bring back what the essence of social media should have done when it first came out, which was to truly, truly connect people in a positive way instead of the way that it's been doing, which is more of a negative experience, in my opinion.
Yes, and a lot of people who just want to be there preening and prancing and showing, but it's not really that connection. You're talking about the connecting, the intimacy of being able to relate. That
It's
I
the
can see.
mystery that we're in the world full of connectivity, but people feel so depressed and disconnected. How do we fix that? And that's
Yes.
what I plan to do.
Oh my goodness. Are we blessed? Are we blessed? Are we blessed? Listen, my love, the time here flies by and it goes so quickly. And you have shared so much with us. And my prayer is that people will come, tune in, and connect with you. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask Kirill to put up your poster. And I
Okay.
want you to share with us a little bit about when they connect with you and what you're offering, because I think it's a heck of a gift that you're offering. And then in turn, we can decide on how we're going to do this. But share with us a little bit about AI app builder, which is what you are. I love this poster, by the way, and just talk a wee bit about that and what you're offering to the guests who come today.
So today and throughout the rest of the month, Joy, because you're such an inspiration to me, and I really have, no one could have named you more perfectly than the name Joy, because you are literally one of the happiest people I've ever met in my life. In honor of Women's, Day that occurred this month, I'm doing 50% off for any woman that comes to us that wants to build through our AI app builder. They're going to get 50% off. And so all you guys have to do is literally just go to digitalprodigee.com or follow us on Instagram. We have a team of people that will kind of navigate your way into our ethos and to our community, and they'll give you all the information. Even if you don't take action, at least find out what we can do for you to empower, scale, and launch your ideas with us at Digital Prodigee.
Thank you. All of the compliments you gave me, right back to you, my love. I meet and connect with the most fabulous women. And the feeling and the dance is mutual. So thank you. All the best. She's going to put you in the green room, and I'll see you in a short time. My friends, this lady is a powerhouse, as you are, whether you know it or not. So I'm just saying to you, be well and take care of you so that you can look after all the others and be empowered and powerful like you are, like this lady, like me, like you, like all of us, because we're here to dance with others, to share and to exchange. I'm sending you much, much love, always, from my heart to yours. Be it, stay well, and make this the best rest of the week ever. And I'll see you soon. Much love, my friends. Cheers. And thank you.